Hello everyone, we are here today with Mrs. Nenita Malid Nanyong, who is an alumna of the University of Santo Tomas. She graduated with the course of Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education back in 1958 and took her master's degree back in 1980s. So, good evening, Mrs. Nanyong.
Good evening, Charlotte.
What is your field of work?
Just as you have mentioned, my field of work is elementary education. Teaching the elementary students and have been a principal or a school administrator.
And what were the difficulties that you have encountered to be able to achieve that kind of status or success that you're enjoying right now?
You know very well that teaching is a very complicated job, and I graduated from a Catholic university. I started teaching in the private schools, Catholic school, and when I was in the private school, Catholic, I didn't encounter so much difficulty because of the training that I had at UST. But my difficulties started when I transferred to the government schools or to the public schools, wherein the environment that I had in the Catholic school or at UST was very much different in the public school. So that started some of the difficulties I had encountered. But the training that I had in the institution where I graduated had been a great help. So little by little, I had to adjust myself. I had to deal with my co-teachers because the relationship among co-teachers and students in the private schools, in the Catholic schools, is very much different in the public schools. But as I have mentioned, the training that I had when I was a student teacher in UST, and then the off-campus training that we had helped me encountered all the difficulties. But it was not an easy job. But after a series of maybe it took me around 3 years to be well adjusted. But in the public schools, you do not only stay in one school, but you have to transfer every 5 years. So encounter or difficulties that you have encountered in one school is very much different from the other schools that I have. And so those were the difficulties. Tsaka kasi yung sense ng values, ng core values ng mga pupils ng public schools is also very much different from the Catholic schools. Pero it's more, I considered myself, when I was assigned in the public school, it is a way of being a work of apostolic.
With all the circumstances that you have mentioned, how did you use your imbibed Thomasian core values in your current field of expertise?
Yes. Every time I meet a difficulty or every time problems crop up, I always remember the homily of our commencement speaker, who was a Spanish priest. I just forgot the name, and he said, in all difficulties that we shall be encountering, just remember the cross at the top of UST, di ba? Doon sa main building, merong cross doon na if you were able to endure all the difficulties or the problems that when you were still here, the more you will be having problems outside of the UST campus. Kaya yun lang ang iniisip ko. Kasi napakaganda nung napakaganda nung homily nung aming commencement speaker. Kaya, and then every time I see my pupils, palagi sinasabi sa amin noon, every time you meet your pupils, you do not only meet the face of an ordinary person, but in him or in his face, you see the face of our Lord. Yun yung sa amin yun yung na-imbibe sa amin, yun talagang inano sa amin nung kami ay nagpa-practice teaching or when we were in college. At that had been a great help. And until now, sabi ko, yun din when I became a principal, that is also how I trained my teachers. Sabi ko, basta isipin nyo lang na every time you meet your pupils, especially the unruly ones, you are not meeting an ordinary person, but you are meeting the face of our Lord. And if you have that in mind, siyempre hindi ka gagawa ng kasalanan and you will do your best. And another trait that I got from my Tomasian experience is the spirit of humility. The higher you become, the humbler you should be. Di ba gano'n naman yung mga kasi noong kami ngayon hindi ko na masyado nakikita yun sa UST. Pero noon kasi mga Spanish priests, they were really very strict. And religion there was really very, emphasized. That was our major subject. Pero just the same, I am very thankful to all to all my professors. And until now, until I spent 40 years in the teaching field, and I hope what I am now from the training that I had from UST. Kaya alam mo, pag pumapasok ako sa UST, iba yung pakiramdam ko I feel I am very much secure. Iba iba. Kasi second home. Yes, I feel at home and I considered it a second home. And that is the reason why even when I had my children, I saw to it that they had some training. They had a high school in UST, and now my granddaughters are also in UST because I would like them to experience the very nice experience, not only academically, but more on the spiritual side of training.
So, what can you advise to the younger Tomasians who are starting to build their own careers in UST?
Basta you be serious with your studies and put God as the center of whatever you do, and just remember the core values of St. Thomas. Basta yung tinuturo, you live it up, no? Whatever you learn, whatever your professors teach you in the classroom, it has to be live up. You should be living witnesses. You should make the difference because you are not in an ordinary Catholic school, but you are in a pontifical university.
Thank you so much, Mrs.
Thank
Nanyang,
you,
for
dear
your
Lord.
time. It was a wonderful interview.
Thank you. I hope I was able to satisfy all your questions, and good luck.
Thank you.
Diba? Sige.